Hi, I'm Sherry, and welcome to The Eyes Have It. Today, I'm going to be talking about that Eve Pearl Salmon Concealer. It's really nice. As you know, I am not a foundation person. I wear like a full face of foundation a couple times a month, maybe. So when I can find quick and easy and effective ways to cover my dark spots and make it look like I have a polished face, that is big news to me. If you didn't see my QVC haul for the Eve Pearl stuff, this is the Salmon Concealer. As you can see, I've been in there quite a few times. And the only complaint I have is I could see that this was not going to last long if I was using it every day. So it comes in two different colors, a lighter and a darker salmon, which you may not notice so much anymore as when it was new, because I usually dab a little bit of both to match my skin tone. I have just been out to lunch with a friend. I was rushed, so all I had time to do was put on primer that was skin toned, a skin tone primer, and blush in terms of my face, and powder. That's all I had time to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off makeup on one side of my face and show you, how I use the Salmon Concealer. Now, I don't consider myself any kind of expert because I've only had this a couple of weeks and I have not used a product like this before, a cream concealer like this before. Alright, so this is I have dark spots everywhere now on my face, or freckles or some sort of thing like that, but they are really, really concentrated on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and take this side off. Okay, so here we are with our spots. Depending on your skin tone, you might be able to use one or the other. I usually used a little bit of both when I did it. I'm just going to use, this is one of the two Eve Pearl brushes that came in that set. And I hate a paddle brush for foundation, but I have used it for this. And then I use this end, which is like an angled kabuki, for the blending. So I'm going to go into the light first and just show you what that looks like on my skin. And I consider myself, this time of year, I would say light to medium, perhaps. Okay. I am going to have to use a mirror. I can't see where I'm putting it. Yeah, now I can see the distinction between where I put the concealer and where I didn't. Okay, now I'm going to put a little of the darker color next to it so you can see the difference in color. Okay, on me, this is real salmon-y, and this is a little too light for my skin tone. So that's why I say I use a little of both. I didn't paint stripes like this before. I'm doing this for you so that you can see the color distinction between the two. But what I would normally do is I would just do dots of one and then dots of the other and blend them together. So that's looking pretty salmon-y to me. But I'm going to go ahead and buff it and we'll see. I buff it just like I would a foundation. I go in circular motion and just go along the edges and make sure that I've blended it out well. So there you are. And this is just nothing but the Salmon Concealer. So even though it is a pretty thick cream, I don't feel cream at all on my cheek. I mean, right now while it's setting, I can feel a little moisture, but it doesn't feel goopy or anything. So the normal thing to do would be to put your foundation on over this. But for me, this is usually it, of course, all over my face, not just there. And then I would follow with the setting powder, usually Laura Mercier's. So let me put swatches on my finger to give you a better idea of the colors. Here again, they've blended together a little bit. All right, there's the lighter one, and there is the darker one. And as you can see, they are pretty thick and creamy. But my experience has been, once you buff them in, they dry down really, really nice. Like, see this? Just in that minute that I was talking, there's no longer any feeling of moisture over here. It is dried down. So, yeah, so you could use like the lighter one down your nose if you wanted to, you know, do all kinds of things. And you could also spot conceal if the salmon concealer, if one of the salmon concealers is a good enough match for your skin. Like I have up in here somewhere a big dark spot. So I could spot, and then I would probably want something other than this, like a smaller brush to blend it in with. Just blend the one in on my nose. My nose, I don't know, tell me what your experience has been, mature ladies, because my skin has always been so, you know, such a good texture, such a fine texture, no big pores and that type of thing. My nose, it started out just the tip being the big pores. Now the whole bridge of my nose is just weird. It's like, it's just got lines in it and big pores in it, and it's just weird looking. Like I have to be really careful what I put on it, because it just, sometimes it makes it look worse. You're not going to want to slap that creamy salmon concealer on there and then immediately put blush on. You're probably going to want to give it 3 or 4 minutes to set, because now it doesn't at all have any tackiness, moisture, anything. Up close in the mirror, I can see a couple of the bigger age spots on that side, and you'll need to tell me what you see. In the mirror, I sort of see shadow here, but otherwise, compared to what it looked like when it had nothing on it, when I wiped my makeup off, I think it's amazing. I think it's a nice, polished look, very smooth and blended, and you know, it really looks nice. And by the way, the full name of this product is the Eve Pearl Dual Salmon Concealer, and mine is in medium. They do have a color range. Now, I have not yet priced what this would cost separately, because, you know, I bought it in the QVC set. I like the brushes. The blushes are okay, but they're 2 out of 3 are too light for me. The lipstick is okay, don't love it. So of all the Eve Pearl set, I think this is probably the only thing that I would be really interested in replacing. So I'm going to go ahead and look up the full price, and I will put it right here, okay? It is fairly gloppy in the pan, as you can see. It's kind of a mess. If you wanted to just spot conceal, you could go in with a tinier brush, like a concealer brush, that only has a head about like that, and then you could go into just where you want to go in, and you could be a lot neater with it. But using this paddle brush, you can see the size of this paddle brush compared to each side, and it makes a mess, I will say. So I just wanted to show it to you, demonstrate it, because a lot of people have been asking about it and asked me to get back to them on what my opinion is on it. And so yeah, I like it. Can I do the same thing with a facial concealer, say Derma Blend, Makeup Forever, anything like that? Yes, and I have for years. I do think that because this is cream and because my skin is so dry, I think that the texture is smoother and more refined than when I do it with a stick or squeeze concealer, facial concealer. So, you know, will I buy this again? It will depend a lot on what the price is for this item. This is a high-end makeup company, So I really don't know what to expect in terms of the prices for these individual things. Okay, that's it for my review and demo of the Eve Pearl Dual Salmon Concealer. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it helpful. And please like or comment. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, a thumbs up would be awesome too. And if you haven't already subscribed, please join our little The Eyes Have It family. Take care, be well, and always be yourself, even if that's a person with age spots, because, well, that's part of who I am. Bye.